Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from True Green 7 of turning Pokemon silhouettes into new Fakemon. So let's who's that Pokemon these new Fakemon?
Hey guys, Ron here. Remember in the past when Pokemon would reveal a silhouette of a soon-to-be-released Pokemon and everybody would speculate what the Pokemon would look like, leading to a plethora of artist interpretations of these real Pokemon? No?
I remember.
Oh, well, good thing I explained that, or else this would be very confusing. Well, what if I took some silhouettes of existing Pokemon we all know and love and created completely new Fakemon from them? I want this to be a fun little challenge without any stakes, so I'm gonna try my best to at least keep these new Fakemon from looking anything like how they already do. I'm not just gonna take Tepig silhouette and just make a new pig Pokemon. I'm obviously not trying to predict what these Pokemon look like, since I already do. Instead, it's a little art exercise that you can play along with. Feel free to share them with the world on your social media of choice. It would be crazy if we used the same silhouettes and created completely different Fakemon from them. Before beginning, I want to tell you about a revolutionary experience I had with today's sponsor, Gentle Bands. Listen, I was speaking in the most appropriate place possible with Pokemon number 1, Bulbasaur. Originally, I thought I could turn this into some kind of Pokemon with an onion or pomegranate as a head, but I just made an onion Pokemon. Go check out turning memes into Pokemon number 3 if you haven't. But I also wanted
Don't need to do a Shrek 2.
deviate from the initial types of the original Pokemon, so I don't want to make another grass type. And most importantly, I want to stick to the exact same silhouettes. No cheating and making it have a similar silhouette. It has to be exactly the same, so since those claws clearly face the left, I can't make the bulb the head. Instead, I'm going to use it as a big fluffy tail like Eevee's. I thought, which dog has a huge head and landed on Bulldog, which also works for such a stout body and small ears. I wanted its personality to be completely different from Bulbasaur's. I'm going to turn Bulbasaur's cheeks into this collar-like skin. I don't have an actual concept yet, since I can't go too deep until I know that drawing a dog within Bulbasaur's silhouette is even doable. Since the neck is just floppy skin, I made it consistent by giving its head some saggy skin as well. Thank God Bulbasaur's claws make sense on a Bulldog's stubby legs. I guess one way to differentiate it from a real Bulldog is giving it a fluffy tail. Maybe that's the concept. This guy looks very off-putting and sad, but is very sweet and just has a resting sad face. How about we make this sweetness literal and turn it into yet another baked good fairy dog? We already have 3. The neck kinda looks like a cinnamon roll, and since Bulldogs already have various patterns like this, making it look like icing was fairly easy. It's crazy how I stuck all of this inside a Bulbasaur. Within every Bulbasaur is a sad dog. Refining it will help sell how crazy this illusion is, and the colors are that of a pastry and dog.
Oh, look at that.
Behold, Bulbun, the sweet Pokemon.
Oh, Bulbun! Oh, I think I found my mom's new favorite dog. Hold on, I gotta show her this.
Normal fairy type from Bulldog and Bun. It has the abilities Unaware, Thick Fat, and Aroma Veil. Bulbun sports stoic faces, but are quite affectionate and interested in the attention of their trainer. When they wave their fluffy tail in happiness, sugar crystals fill the air with a sweet scent. The sugar that builds on their body must be brushed off for it to properly move. Wild Bulbun use the sugar crystals that accumulate on them as protection in their fierce territorial battles. Their shiny is just a more strawberry fairy variant. I was so proud of this design, I showed it to all my friends. The fact that it's such a cool Pokemon on its own while sporting the literal silhouette of a Bulbasaur over there on the bottom right is so fun. The previous one was perfect in every way. I thought I'd bend the rules a bit. I've proven I could do the exact same silhouette as the original Pokemon, but while the rule will stay for the rest of the video, what if for some of them I rotate them a bit? Same exact silhouette, just different orientation. Since we made such a natural looking animal, how about we make something more monstrous and rigid? I'm gonna take Boldor and rotate him 75 degrees. Now it looks like some kind of rock animal that stands on its tail, perhaps for intimidation. It makes it look taller too. It's
kind of almost looks like a man in the moon kind of thing if you look at it. Like if you look at like here would be the nose, here's like the mouth line, and this would be like the overhang of like hair or something like a stalagmite. Pompadour.
It's tough making an anatomically correct face from within a rock hand of another Pokemon. I want to make sure its face makes sense and isn't just an asymmetrical mess. The snout is endearing. Like I said, it's standing on its tail, it has crystal spikes coming out of its back, the hind leg of Boldor is perfect material for this guy's arm, and then some tiny little legs. By now you realize that this thing is a rock type, just like Boldor, but I swear this will be the only time the new Fakemon shares a type with the original. I just had to do this mon, since I thought a sideways Boldor was perfect for this challenge. Its eyes are hollow, with a pupil within. Rock colors makes me notice that the cheek pattern I gave it made no sense. I'm removing it, revealing the empty face, which gave me a perfect opportunity to extend the mouth and make it look more monstrous, like something that eats rocks. Here is Crystal, the territory Pokemon from Crystal and Paul, a rock type with the abilities Sturdy, Rockhead, and Clear Body. Crystal are not the fastest. Since it takes them a long time to ready an attack, they will prop themselves up on their tail in order to deter enemy attack. They waddle around and search for gems to eat. They are excellent sniffers and are used by many explorers to hunt for treasure. They launch sharp crystal quills at their opponents.
Okay.
Their shiny is just a different kind of rock. This is another just straight up cohesive Pokemon that could exist outside of the fact that it's a boulder on its side. Like, look at that silhouette, it's hilarious. Now, I was going to
It's
start
fine,
with this,
yeah.
but I'm not too confident that I could even succeed in using Pikachu's silhouette. Pikachu is the most recognizable Pokemon, so its silhouette is also iconic. Not to mention it's very specific to both Pikachu and the electric type with the spiky ears and a thunderbolt-shaped tail, and from here on out...
And plus there's that whole meme of, who's that Pokemon? And it's clearly a Clefairy, but then you got the guy yelling, it's Pikachu! Well, only the guy told it's a Clefairy, and he goes, Fa! Classic meme.
All the Fakemon I make are different types from their original Pokemon, so how in the world do I do this? Originally I was thinking a rabbit, but then why would it have this tail? Plus a cute rabbit would have similar facial features to Pikachu, so what would even be the point of this challenge if I were just gonna draw an animal that already looks like a Pikachu? I thought long and hard about animals with long ears, but I felt like an idiot when I realized I could just make these antennas. So we're making a rather mammalian looking bug with antennas that are also supposed to look like legs or stingers. Since it'll have creepy body parts, I want to make sure the face is cute, but we also gotta make sure the face looks nothing like Pikachu's. It needs to have a different brand of cuteness. It almost looks like a mythical here, like Celebi or Jirachi. The problem with these hands is that it looks like Pikachu with a different face. It's the opposite problem I was trying to avoid. I think I found a surprising solution. I almost gave up until I realized I can turn the fingers into hairy elbows. That's right. It has long spider hands now. So it's a general bug type, an amalgamation of any creature that can be considered a bug type, like an insect or arthropod. But obviously I don't want to give it too many legs or else it would look insane and creepy. I think this is the best balance. This hairy pattern on the face finally gave it a new identity, along with these stripes. You may be thinking, how in the world are you going to turn the tail into anything bug related? It's too low in the body to be a wing after all. So I'm going to make it a wad of webbing. Like, imagine a bundle of spider webs in this configuration. It's the only thing I can do with it, honestly. It's too iconic of a tail for it to be anything else. I think with this more bug-like eye and completely new colors, everything seems a bit more successful. Say hi to Pikaspew, the invasive Pokemon. A bug type with the...
And the shiny looks like Pikachu. Well, it has Pikachu's yellow.
The abilities Shield Dust, Sticky Hold, and Hypercutter. Pikaspew create a webbing that bunches up and coils like a spring. This dense thread allows it to hang indefinitely from its abdomen. Its sharp claws rip into its foes, and the antennas on its head are actually 2 stingers. With its 4 eyes, Pikaspew's field of vision is incredibly wide. Sneaking up on Pikaspew is not recommended. From a distance, people often mistake it for Pikachu, only to be met with disappointment. Their shiny is more Pikachu-esque. I mean, we have Mimikyu and a bunch of Pikachu clones, so there isn't any reason to have a convergent Pokemon like Pikaspew. I was thinking about other Pokemon to use in the thumbnail just in case the Bulbasaur Fakemon didn't turn out good, but it did. Regardless, we're sticking with Gardevoir. This is another one I didn't have to think hard on, because I can immediately see the new Pokemon within Gardevoir's silhouette. Check it. So Gardevoir's horn will be a serpent's head, and its arms will be fins, like Milotic's. Her head will be a giant turban-shaped fin. I'm gonna give it a fortune teller aesthetic. I'm adding these gems to fill in some of the gaps that are left by the silhouette. The dress will become a flowing giant fin that many fish have, with one of Gardevoir's dress flaps repurposed as this Pokemon's body. It's basically an eel or any long fish like a pipefish. The rest of the time is making things work by employing a very famous rule in art, which is, don't put too much detail in places you don't want the eye to go to. It felt like there was too much going on behind the head and around the cheek, so streamlining it helped. It was super fun trying to find the perfect colors for this marvelous Fakemon. Behold, Gardevoir, the misleading Pokemon. A water dark type with the abilities Hydration, Adaptability, and Contrary. In ancient times, Gardevoir were considered fortune-telling spirits who could predict rain. In reality, they do not have any precognition and just fooled humanity for centuries in order to be worshipped. Modern Gardevoir are so rarely revered that they have become bitter and lure in humans to their watery demise. On foggy nights, they slither onto land, tricking humans who believe them to be Gardevoir, helping humans find their way. That is when Gardevoir strikes. Their shiny is a color palette I also think is pretty. Another banger by Ron Strohr from True Green 7. This was kind of funny and is actually genius when you think about the trope of snakes pretending to be humans. Next I want to take a Pokemon and completely flip it upside down, but for the best effect I decided to go with a Pokemon that has long legs, which ends up looking like horns. I just realized I didn't mention that this is Hawlucha if you didn't notice.
Kind of obvious.
This looks like some kind of flying monster that torments you in a dungeon, so that's what I'm gonna make.
Almost looks like a bat with wheeled, like, sock eel horn things.
Take some inspiration from a harpy, although I'm gonna try to not keep it a flying type. But most importantly, with these elaborate horns, a demon is an appropriate reference.
Okay, so
I'm beginning by
dog type.
straight up tracing the silhouette, since one is gonna have more intricate shapes. I want to be extra sure that they actually work within the silhouette. Most of the concept is already done now, since we have a wing, horns, and bug-like abdomen. The smile has to nail it though. It's gotta look like a crazy boss, something insane like an evil jester. I mean, that's literally the trope we're leaning into. So I gave it a clown collar and some makeup-looking marks. The feathers on Halucha's head stick out of this guy's tail awkwardly, so I added a bow-like appendage on its neck so that the thing on its butt isn't out of nowhere. It's more consistent. Stripes and intricate patterns make sense for a Harlequin-inspired Pokemon. This Fakemon was always going to be purple. It's the most flamboyantly dark color. Inverting the gradient makes its head pop out more. Beware, Harlucha, the sweeping Pokemon from Harpy, Harlequin, Har, and Lucha, because it fights anyone it encounters. A dark ghost type with the ability Levitate. Harlucha float within deep caverns, swooping down to attack those that enter its domain. They laugh uncontrollably as they fight. They do their best to pierce their foes with their sharp abdomen. There is a myth that a curse on Harlucha leaves it unable to touch the ground and rest, thus making it restless and mad. Their shiny is just a darker color palette. Definitely the only one so far that doesn't feel like a Pokemon, but is definitely a successful boss fight in a video game somewhere. Now,
I will have to say, that thing would actually look like a pretty good encounter in like a Pokemon dungeon game.
Turning the Pokemon upside down worked, but I want to try it one last time and see if we can do it even better. I want to find one where we can actually give our Pokemon some legs, and you might think that would be impossible with Jellicent, but that crown could easily be a foot, with another foot present somewhere within that big floof of a head, which I'll turn into a puffy dress. For the pose, I'm going to take inspiration from a famous Violet Evergarden scene, and I recently watched Apothecary Diaries, and I took some inspiration from Mau Mau's various dresses. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Imagine a sentient rose. You don't have to, because we have many flower Pokemon, and this is just one of them now. Since the body is going to be very humanoid, I want to make the face look more monstrous, in a femme fatale way, not like a goblin or anything. Something that looks pretty, but would attack you if you encounter it. Now I'm going to give it these roots for legs, which explain how I turned the crown into feet. The only problem is that I only just noticed after the fact that I, by mistake, added a hand on the right side of the drawing, and that's not part of the original silhouette. I don't know how that happened. I'm leaving it in because I didn't use it as a crutch. The design works with or without that hand being visible, so it's not like I broke a rule in order for something to work when it didn't. I imagine this pose is basically a feisty princess protagonist running away from a ball in order to kick some butt. You know that classic trope of a girl fighting in a dress that they tear up for more mobility in order to fight some villain that trashes the party?
Classic,
pretty colors
classic.
though. This is Bellicent, the majestic Pokemon from Bella, meaning beautiful, Belle, southern lady, and Magnificent, a grass fairy type with the abilities Leaf Guard, Chlorophyll, and Hustle. Bellicent may look pretty, but they are very blunt and love to battle. They twirl around as they stomp on their opponents. Their giant petal dress makes it difficult for physical attackers to judge whether or not they have fully made contact with their body. Bellicent giggles as it kicks its foe in return. They will begin to wrestle if they are ever in a pinch. Their shiny looks a bit more serious. I think I'm most proud of the literal design of this one. Jellicent is relatively easy to translate into a lady in a dress, but that just means it looks like a natural Pokemon that wasn't made in a silhouette challenge. But if you want to see more of this challenge, leave a like and subscribe and let me know which Pokemon silhouettes I could use in a potential part 2. Make sure to check the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you can also do by clicking the join button and becoming a member. Make sure to follow me on Twitter where I show sneak peeks of
Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Support the original creator by clicking the link in the description, and I'll see all of y'all next time. This is Fox, signing out. Peace.